Blog Talk Radio.
This is the Pop Roxx Radio Talk Show. I'm your host, pop art painter Jamie Roxx, and this is the big show. You found it. Sure, I'm glad you did. Hey, I'm excited for tonight's show. It's a Friday night, and we were supposed to do this show the other day, and guys, I tell you, I messed up. When I booked the show a few weeks ago, when I confirmed everything, I had forgotten. This past Tuesday was my anniversary, so we had to move it to Friday. Thank God. John was very accommodating, our guest tonight. He's a returning guest, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and really saved my bacon this week. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome John Connor, a.k.a. John 3. John, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, Jamie. Like we were talking off air, it's been a wild week as far as weather goes. Very bipolar in Texas.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, you were saying it was a bit of a cold snap this week.
Well, it's been back and forth. We had days that were in the 70s, and today it was 39 and cloudy, and we had some rain in the last week or so. It was 2 weeks ago, we had ice, and Texas is weird right now. It doesn't know if it wants to be spring or winter. Not sure yet.
That kind of weather, you have to be careful, though, because you get a cold. You catch cold real easy. You know, you get sick easy in that.
Yep.
Because your body's used to one thing, and then it changes. Yeah, it is. Here in South Florida, it's starting to get hot. It's starting to get hot. And I don't mind the heat so much. It's the humidity. Boy, did the humidity start to roll in this week. And, you just took the dog for a walk, and my shirt was sticky when I came home. I was like, oh, man. How did I forget about this? But I had. But, what can you do?
True.
What can you do?
It's true.
No, you emailed me probably about a month ago, a few weeks at least, and the last time you were on the show, we were talking about your latest hobby is, not music. That's your life. You've been doing that forever. But you got into remote control cars. And I know some people that are into that. And I don't know that much about it, but, man, they are into it. And those things are not cheap either.
No.
And they just really get into it. And so I get this email from you, and you said, hey, I have a new single out. And guess what it's about? Didn't surprise me. Well, it did surprise because there's not a lot of songs out there about racing and whatnot. And it's just, it fascinates me. It fascinates me.
Yeah.
This is very cool, my friend. Very, very cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's
funny
amazing.
Because it's not something I expected.
Right.
Because when you think about songs about cars, the first band I think of are the Beach Boys. Little Duke 2, 409, there are songs out there that talk about cars, but to talk about what, the guys in our RC community, we call them toy cars. They're adult toy cars. I mean, they're expensive adult toy cars, but to write a song about an RC car, to write a song about really anything RC, it's kind of like, has anybody done it? I don't know. I did.
I don't think so. Not that I could find. I mean, I tried to do a little research on it, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's fascinating. The car itself is, I put it right up there as with like blue jeans, fast food. It's very American, and it's really a excuse the pun, ladies and gentlemen. It's a vehicle in pop culture of just Americana. It's so important, and then to have that transfer, as you say, to a hobby or a toy or whatnot. But they are more than just a toy like a kid would. We all had, trucks in the dirt, and all of us guys knew the yellow Tonka color, quite well.
Oh yeah.
But these remote control cars are not necessarily a Tonka truck. These are, they go fast.
Very fast.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But they're just neat and a lot of fun. I don't know anybody who has dipped their toe into that pool and said, it's just not for me. I'd rather go play a video game. I know nobody. Everybody that tries it once, they're hooked. They're into it. They're into it.
The only people that get out of the RC hobby is because it gets so expensive that, bills pile up and, with everything going on, I've, in fact, within our community, we've had a couple people that, had to sell some of their cars and they just couldn't keep up with it. They even commented, hey, I love the hobby. I'm not doing this because I don't like it anymore. You're absolutely right. You get into the RC hobby, you don't get out because you're like, if anything, what you do is you spend more money. You spend more money to go faster or whatever. And that's how it was with me. When my niece Brooke and I got into the hobby, we had these, they were kind of entry-level RC cars. They were fun, but then I kind of worked my way up. In fact, Ron, who owns our local hobby shop called Hobby Town, he even had mentioned, that I'm kind of working my way up, and even some of the guys in our community said, build your own kit, because the guys that I race with, they even saw me as, that's great that you're working your way up, but we understand where you're going. Stop spending money on building what's called ready to run. It's where you buy it, you plug it, put some batteries in, you charge it, and you're off to the races. But they said, what? And they kept telling me, build a kit. And you know what? I finally did. In fact, I took it out the last couple of days with permission from the guy who owns the track. But it's fun. I spent about 20 hours building my first RC truck. And
wow.
Just the satisfaction of it is just phenomenal. It feels so good. It does. So I'm finally at the point where I want to be.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
I think I can get a taste of where you're coming from. I remember many, when I was a kid, a teen and maybe a preteen more so, but I really got into building airplanes, like model airplanes and whatnot. But they hung from a fishing line. Maybe if a missile was shooting out, I'd put some cotton behind the missile. I thought they were pretty cool. They didn't fly. Now, I have since known a couple people who started out like you're doing with cars, and then they graduated to remote control planes, and there's nothing cheap about it. I have one friend who put a runway on his property, like poured concrete.
Wow.
I think
yeah.
I don't know if I'm telling tales out of school, but I think he had to sleep on the couch for about a week after coming up with that big plan. I don't think he told us until it was done. Oh, and she was not happy. But it was just, very expensive. But, the cool thing about, there was, I remember when I would make these model planes and stuff, and I did ships for a while, but ships just wasn't really my thing. But I loved the World War II like a Spitfire or something. And I really enjoy doing that. I wish I had the time to do that now. I just don't. But and I don't know if I have the dexterity. Maybe I would be real good at it. I don't know. But you guys take these out, and you actually not only do you build it, you get to see it perform.
Yeah.
And it has to be right because it's like a car. It's like a full size. You have torque and different things will affect how this runs and how this moves. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And you're into it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
I really am.
I don't know if you got this, ladies and gentlemen. He mentioned when he went to the track. Now, see, everybody that I see doing it it's just, maybe some neighbors down the street. They run them in the we're at a cul-de-sac, a dead-end road. We're down at the end of it. And they run them back and forth. You hear it going down the street. And they don't go to a track, though. John goes to a track, ladies and gentlemen. An actual track.
Oh, yeah.
It's serious,
oh, yeah.
baby. It's serious. And I think that's cool, man. I think that is cool. So you got now. Did it come like as a kit with everything there, or did you have to modify stuff or change stuff? How did that all come about? And does it have a name?
Yeah. I haven't named it, but I did come up with a theme, and I'll explain that. But so the brand, and once again, there are these companies create teams, like professional teams. In fact, one of my friends, Billy, he is running pro now. He joined the team. It's called Team Associated. It is. I mean, this is basically a scaled down version of if you had a full size car like NASCAR or oval track or whatever. This is basically a scaled down version of what you would kind of see, and it's not exact, but kind of what you would see as if you were going out on a full size racetrack. So I decided to go with a brand called Team Associated because my friend Billy really liked his. He just joined Team Associated as one of their pro drivers. And, yes, it's a kit. It comes with everything except for a couple things. There's some things that and it's what's known as a quote-unquote slider. So, basically, you still have to add tires, your motor, your speed control, your servo. So there are things outside of it that you do have to add, like your controller. But as far as the actual car goes, or in this case, it's called a truggy. It's a buggy, but with a truck body, truck scale. So I would say you build. I mean, when I say you build it, I mean, you're talking about building the differentials, you're building the shocks, you build the arms, the suspension, like in fact, you paint the body. My friend Ron at Hobby Town helped me paint my body. The body alone took about 4 or 5 hours to paint because it's like being in a detail shop where you have to tape it up, you have to. In fact, you actually paint it from the inside of it. So you actually paint it backwards from what you would be like at a body shop, right? So the colors that I went with, I'm a big Baylor Bear fan. Here in Waco, Baylor Bears. So I went with the green and gold theme. So that's what I was going to leave on the tail end as far as the scheme that I'm going with. In fact, the funny thing is, one of my guitar students works at Baylor in the dean's office, or one of the dean's offices. And she thought, man, this is so cool. And I thought, I would love to let Baylor know that I did this. And I was like, it'd be cool if I could find somebody in the public relations department. And one of my students says, I know the guy who's in charge of PR. You should meet him. I'm like, whoa, it's crazy, It was awesome.
You part of so this meeting, did it happen? Has it happened yet?
Not yet. Because I literally just finished this. Yes.
I predict
I
you're
just
going
finished
to
it.
be part of the Baylor family. Because nobody's done this. You know? How
is.
cool.
I mean, yeah.
How
in fact,
cool.
In fact, Ron, he's going to print up some Baylor stickers. So I'm gonna put some Baylor stickers on there, and that way it has a theme. And some cars actually do that, where you're building. It's not just building an RC car, but a lot of them have themes to them. Some don't, but mine does. Mine's going to have a lot of character.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned that you also, you teach, not only are you a professional musician, but you also teach classes and whatnot, and I believe guitar and I would assume other, mandolin or something like that. But, I mean, it's serious. Now, I know you've probably worked on guitars, we got to add a pickup here or do this or that or adjust this, or that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that background helped with this new endeavor of building an RC car?
Absolutely. Working on guitars. And I don't think it's just about working on guitars, but just anything mechanical. I
gotcha.
Just getting that hands-on experience. But, yeah, I mean, I love doing string changes. I love working on my guitars. And, yeah, I think it definitely did. But I would say it transferred from going from working on guitars to then working on my what we call ready-to-run RC cars, that are pre-built, and then to working on, building a kit. So things come in stages. But, working on guitars definitely helped.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing. And, it doesn't surprise me in a way because I tell you, since I've been doing the show, and I've been doing the show a couple of years now, and, you talk to, I've met a lot of guitar players that I grew up listening to, I should say, from pretty big, like, rock bands and stuff. And it's funny because when I got your email, I thought about this. A lot of these guys, first off, they have money to spend on it. They get really into either like motorcycles or classic cars or whatnot, and they get into it and they get into working on them and not just owning it. Anybody can. If you got a bunch of money, you can just go buy something and put it in the garage. That ain't no fun, But I'm like, well, John, here he goes. He's starting out, man. It's just going to be, let me ask you this. Do you have a history, are you a gearhead? Do you like working on regular cars, like real size cars?
It's funny because, and I've even told some of my students, in the last, let's just say since Christmas, maybe a little bit before, a couple of my students I let, drive my cars, after lessons or whatever, before lessons. And so I've actually got 2 students into RC. And I think one of them got one for Christmas. But that's the thing is I'm not a gearhead. I mean, so that's where it really, because I would say people who, let's say they have an engineering degree, I'm sure could tear apart an RC car, put it back together with little effort. But for me, I literally had to learn how to do this. A lot of it came from watching YouTube videos or asking my friends at the track, how do you do this? How do you do that? And we have a very supportive group here in Waco with our RC community, very supportive group. And we generally leave our egos at the door. I mean, yeah, we talk smack, just for fun, but
right.
Overall, we are very, I mean, like I could be at the track and a screw falls out and it's like 3 guys are coming up. Hey, what do you need? What do you need? It's a very supportive group. So I would say that I had to learn this on my own. I mean, but at the same time, it was good because 30 years in music, and I finally got to the point where it's like I kind of need something new, and we can talk about this, what spurned the whole Race Day song. But for me, it was, I'm going to learn something from ground zero. I know nothing about this.
Nice.
I want to learn. And I did. And it was so rewarding.
And now, folks, a couple quick messages from some of our show sponsors. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the rest of the interview after these quick messages. Listen to this cool episode ad-free. If you're a VIP member, you can become one on my website, www.jamieroxx.us, www.jamieroxx.us.
Hey rockers, this is Stacey Lane Wilson, author and editor of the Rock and Roll Nightmares book series. I have a new podcast that features interviews with musicians, artists, authors, filmmakers, and music historians. In Season 1, I interview Phil Soussan from Ozzy Osbourne's band, Scott Crawford, the director of the Cream magazine documentary, Lisa S. Johnson, the award-winning author and photographer of the books 108 Rockstar Guitars and Immortal Axes, just to name a few. The Rock and Roll Nightmares podcast explores the dark and mysterious and sometimes funny side of music from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. Enjoy on RSS or anywhere you like to listen to podcasts.
Glittering amethyst, energizing citrine, colorful fluorite, the other side of the sun, Earth's treasures brought to light. Since 1999, we have offered a unique collection of hand-selected minerals and gems for every budget, for novices, collectors, and healers. Visit www.tosots.com to view our wide selection of offerings and use coupon code ROXX, that's ROXX, for 10% off your first order. Remember, TOSOTS.com, Earth's treasures brought to light.
Hi folks, Jamie Roxx here. Hey, if you're a big fan of cool historical books like me, then you're going to want to check out our newest show sponsor, Michelle Albion. Fantastic author. She's got some really interesting, cool books out that you're going to want to check out. I'm a big fan of all of these. The Florida Life of Thomas Edison, the Quotable Edison, Quotable Henry Ford, Quotable Eleanor Roosevelt, and of course the Quotable Amelia Earhart. Michelle's just very keen and very, very cool, and these are just very cool books. So check out her website. There's links to where you can pick these up on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, all over the place. MichelleAlbion.com, MichelleAlbion.com, MichelleAlbion.com. Very, very cool stuff. Check it out, folks. That's fantastic. That is so cool. It is, I love it because I understand. I know last time you were on, we were talking about this. You were into it, and even more so today. And I had mentioned, I got that. I very similarly got into gardening, during the pandemic and whatnot, and it was something to do. And at first, I was spending, I don't know, not a lot of money, but a little bit of money, And then I'm like, well, I better start growing these, getting seeds and growing these from seeds. Got to save some money. And then next thing, it's so funny, just within a year, how much I've learned. And, now it's like, oh, well, this needs this, or this needs this fertilizer or that, or, I've turned into a farmer almost. I had to get some overalls or something. But it's, I love that excitement of the new, the excitement of the new, and not putting down our work, you know. I mean, I still paint every day and everything, and I'm sure you're still obviously making music and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it is cool to have a new taste, you know, some new spice, so to speak. And I think that's exciting.
Yeah.
I think that's very exciting. So it sounds to me, because when we last spoke, you were going to the track after church on Sunday. You know, you did your church and whatnot, and then you went to the track. Sounds to me like you're going to the track a little more than just after church on Sunday these days.
I am, you know, and you know, Brooke is my niece Brooke. You know, she's still excited about RCs, and you know, we've kind of worked our way up to where I am now. In fact, yesterday my brother Matt and Brooke and I went out to the track, took out my new, you know, RC kit, my new truggy, and it was not only fun to see Brooke enjoy running the track, but it was fun to see my brother Matt really get into it and just, you know, see what the car can do and just have fun with it, because that's really what having a hobby is all about. You know, you do painting, I do music, that's our thing, but having that little side project where you're learning something new, something brand new you know nothing about, but you're so eager to learn about it. And that's how it was with me with RC, with the whole RC hobby, is learning something brand new. And in fact, I text Matt later on that evening. I was like, so what'd you think? He's like, dude, we got to go out there again. You know, they had so much fun. You know, they did. They just had so much fun.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's cool to do that and see that spark happen, you know. I know all of our friends, all of our family friends and whatnot, every time somebody comes over, you know, I take them on a tour of our yard and show off a little bit of what we're growing, you know, and try to pawn some plants off on everybody, because I got all these plants going, you know, and oh man, I'll tell you, I had a papaya, and I said, well, I think, look at all these seeds in here in this papaya. I think I'm going to grow some of this, and did all this research. And I said, okay, well, I need 7 papaya trees going. That's what I need. And I think I have, you know, 37 growing, like seedlings going right now. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them all, but we're going to have a lot of papaya. Oh man.
There you go.
But it you know, it's great when you find like-minded people that are into the same thing you're into, and you know, it's fun. Everybody needs a little fun in their life. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. That is cool.
No.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the new single. We're going to play it here in a little bit. It's called Race Day, and I am a big fan of your music. I've been playing. You know, when you come on the show, I usually, when an artist comes on the show, I'll play, you know, I don't know, one of their last songs or one of my favorites, you know, that we're leading up to. And a lot of people are like, well, why don't you play the new one? And I'm like, well, because I want to kind of showcase that during the show, you know, but I want to give people a feel of what the artist is doing. And of course, I've been playing one of my favorite tracks of yours, John, Texas Snow, inspired and written during the big Snowmageddon of Texas, one of my favorites. Yeah. Race Day's a little different than that, though. Race Day's a little different.
It is.
It's a fun track.
It is. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned Texas Snow. There's kind of give your listeners a little bit of an update, because people have asked. In fact, it's funny, ever since my Crossroads album released back in November, people have asked, you know, how's the album going? And that's typical. I mean, you know, I've done 5 albums, so it's typical. People usually ask early on, but usually I would get emails like once a week from Spotify, from Pandora, just to kind of let me know how things, you know, how the songs are, you know, how things are going. Up until the end of November, I wasn't getting Pandora emails anymore. They just stopped. They changed their format, whatnot. And I thought, well, that's really odd. So it was sometime around January. And I thought, well, I haven't seen any reports lately. Let me just go see how Crossroads is doing. So I went on to my artist profile, and to my surprise, halfway through January, Texas Snow got around 600 spins, 600 plays in half that month.
Nice.
And then sometime around February, I would say Texas Snow has gotten, I'd say, a couple thousand plays. And that right now, and I'm glad you mentioned Texas Snow, because I think other people feel the same way, that Texas Snow is right now, at least on Pandora, is my number one played song from my Crossroads album. It's awesome. Love seeing it.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
That is fantastic. Yes. Pandora is a fantastic platform. I'm a big fan of that. We finally it was hard getting the podcast on Pandora. Everybody mentioned Spotify. Yeah, Spotify was just, I tell you, I'm actually kind of telling tales out of school. With Spotify, when we hit 1,000 episodes, Spotify came calling. Pandora did not. I actually had to, and I had to fill out a lot of stuff on that, and they're hard to get on for podcasts.
Yeah,
and
they are.
But it's such a good platform, and people like it. I know several people they play it in their car. And it's a fantastic. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I am glad to hear that it's getting that response. It's a strong track. I dig that track a lot. And I'm digging Race Day too. Now you had mentioned, I didn't get a chance to hear it. You had written a track for a friend of yours, right? Is how all this started?
That's how it started. Well, actually, this started back around September, and I might have mentioned this a little bit last time I was on in October, but the idea for Race Day goes back to around September, where I was finishing up the Crossroads album. The last song that I had to record for that album was Woolly Bob, which is one of my personal favorites. It's kind of weird having a personal favorite of your own songs, but it is. But I noticed that my hand was starting to hurt. My wrist, it was really bothering me. And this had been kind of off and on for the last year or so, but I really noticed it as I was finishing up the album. And around October, a month later, I went to go see an orthopedic specialist because my hand was it was bothering me. And he did some x-rays, and he said, "You've got tendonitis in your hand." Well, I'm not surprised, because I've been bashing the guitar for 30 years, so it wasn't like, wow, I wonder how that happened. It wasn't like that. So he gave me a shot in my wrist, gave me a wrist brace, and this thing came all the way up to like halfway up my forearm. And I'm like, "Doc, how am I going to play with this brace on my hand? Because it actually locks your thumb in." I'm like, "Okay." He said, "Well, just take it easy, but take it off if you need, when you're playing guitar, or if you're going to be, racing at the track." I'm like, "Okay." He said, "But, take it easy for a week or so and start letting it heal." Well, I kind of sort of listened to him on that back end. I'm like, whatever, because that first week after I saw him, my hand was starting to feel better. So I just went about things as normal, right? You're like, hey, you feel good? It's fine. Unfortunately, a couple weeks later, my things actually started to reverse. So things got worse. And it was around the time I was on your show. Yes. And it was around the time I was on your show. And, I mean, my hand was hurting. It not only affected me playing, it affected when I was teaching lessons, because there were some days I could barely strum a chord. It affected me out at the racetrack, because you have to turn the steering wheel with your right hand, and that's the hand that bothered me. So I could run a couple laps. I'd have to pit it and let my hand rest. So I even talked to my priest about it, because it not only affected me physically, but it affected me emotionally, affected me spiritually, because I'm like,
absolutely.
I finally, I was coming to terms. I was fighting this. I had to come to terms with it. I was never going to record again. I literally was at the point during the holidays, times are, the holidays are supposed to be merry, got Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. I had to come to terms with, I'm never going to write or record another song again. And then I saw my doctor again in January for our 3-month checkup, and I told him, I'm like, things aren't where I want them to be. And he gave me another shot in my wrist. This time it was a double dose, kind of like a little double dose of whiskey, right? Nice. Right. He said, don't wear your brace anymore. And he gave me some things to do. He said, rest at this time. He's like, don't do anything. And I did. And it really sucked because that Sunday, race day was coming up. So I had to take off from no RCs, no music for about a week or so. All of a sudden, my hand started healing up again. And I'm like, thank you, Lord, because I've been praying rosary every day for that. I'm like, please, I need to get back. So it was around January, and I was getting some ideas. Now my hand was feeling better. I was getting some ideas now for a new song, and I posted it on our local, RC group Facebook page. I said, hey, guys, I'm thinking about writing an RC-themed song. And they were like, man, that's a cool idea. Well, one of my friends, Ricky, he said, it would be really cool if somebody wrote a song about me. Ricky is a really cool guy, Ricky Chuck. So it was shortly after that, it was around lunchtime, I literally wrote the song in about 5 or 10 minutes. It just came to me. Wow. So I posted this little demo video. I sent it to you, posted it on YouTube. I showed it to all my RC friends, and they were like, man, this is really cool. That is what sparked writing Race Day. And I know that all these things, but, it just shows you that I was at the point where I thought, I'm never going to record again. I've been a musician for 20-plus years, and I'm thinking, this is not good. And here I am in the studio writing and recording Race Day, which happened pretty quick. And I'm happy to where it is. So perseverance.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's nothing scarier. There is nothing. It was about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. It was right at the beginning of the pandemic. So right around there, I had a very similar thing happen. My elbows started killing me. It was, and, at first I'm like, what did I do? Did I sleep on it wrong? What is going on? And it just got worse day by day. And finally my wife's like, well, like you, I spent 30 years doing these little tiny repetitive movements in your arm, holding your arm up. And I'm like, oh, man. And then so talk to a doctor and whatnot, and they're like, yeah, you've got what we used to call tennis elbow. It's what you have, And I'm like, oh, but I was scared. And you know me, John, I'm not a religious person. And I got to tell you, I was having some conversations with the Almighty because it's my identity. I'm like, gosh, if I lose this, it's hard. It's very scary. And
it is.
It all worked out. I to this day, I still do these exercises every night and drink a big bunch of water, and and I do stuff, these special stretches and stuff like that, and it helped. So I didn't get the cortisone shot. There was talk of that. It just didn't work. This other, and I was like, oh man, I didn't want to get into a situation where I was going to have to go in every couple months, and be dependent on that, to get the work done, and I'm like you, if the work stops, spiritually, creatively, artistically, yes, that's terrible. I'm not making light of that. Financially, things stop too, and it's like, oh, what am I going to do? I don't know if I can deliver pizzas. I probably could, but It was definitely a scary spot. And now, folks, a couple quick messages from some of our show sponsors. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the rest of the interview after these quick messages. Listen to this cool episode ad-free. If you're a VIP member, you can become one on my website, www.jamieroxx.us. www.jamieroxx.us.
Metal Babe Mayhem is more than just an online store. It's a destination. MetalBabeMayhem.com carries over 150 rock and roll products, including clothing, jewelry, and accessories. Metal Babe Mayhem also offers shrine clothing and alchemy gothic jewelry. In addition, Metal Babe Mayhem founder Allison Metal Babe Cohen is a rock and roll journalist who supports local and national artists with rockin' reviews, interviews, playlists, networking, and more. Metal Babe Mayhem is taking over the world, one shirt at a time.
My Love Shack Apothecary online shop has everything you need to build a special gift for yourself or someone who needs a little pampering. I hand make all of the products in small batches using only plant-based ingredients and therapeutic-grade essential oils. Whether you choose one of my curated sets or want to build a custom gift set, My Love Shack Apothecary has everything you need to send a little sunshine to someone today. Please visit us online at www.loveshackapothecary.com. That's www.loveshackapothecary.com, as well as online on Instagram and Facebook. Links are in our website.
Support for this podcast comes from the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center, ranked one of the top cancer centers in the nation for the last 27 years. The doctors at MD Anderson treat more rare cancers in a single day than many physicians see in a lifetime, and treatment plans are tailored to an individual patient's needs, allowing more comprehensive and thorough care. To become a patient, please visit makingcancerhistory.com.
Aloha. If you have stress in your life or even anxiety and panic, I want to invite you to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast for a way out. The Anxiety Coaches Podcast is a relaxing and inspiring show bringing you lifestyle changes to calm your nervous system and help you heal anxiety, panic, and PTSD for life. We bring you 2 episodes every week. There's no need to walk this path alone. Join us for a relaxing, informative, and inspiring time and start your journey out of anxiety panic. That's anxietycoachespodcast.com. Aloha.
Hey there, my name is Paige Beatty, and I am the founder of Hats On and Hats Off, which are 2 separate companies but aligned by the same philosophy of raising cancer awareness and forming smiles. Hats On is a for-profit corporation that sells cancer-specific hats to be proudly worn by you in hopes of raising awareness. A percentage of the proceeds will be donated to Hats Off, which is a non-profit corporation raising money to buy wigs for cancer patients who can't afford them. That's where we're forming smiles. I believe cancer has touched almost everyone's lives in one way or another. A friend, a family member, a friend of a friend. So please, visit our website, www.hatsonhatsoff.com, to learn how you can help raise awareness and form smiles.
Roxx Gear, the online web shop of high-end luxury merchandise and products, all featuring original pop art paintings. From La Jolla to Miami to London, www.merch.jamieroxx.us.
Well, it's interesting to me because Race Day, when I listen to the track, it really conveys fun. You had that spirit of what you were talking about earlier, of the enjoyment of this hobby, and it started out almost in a dark place.
It did,
but a dark place that worked out.
Yes,
it's. I imagine
Yeah.
your priest maybe hadn't heard this before. People come in,
yeah,
I'm drinking too much, or I'm doing this, or this is happening, or that's happened. Well,
Yeah.
my wrist is going out. Okay.
Bad. It was bad. Yeah, I mean, because he's approaching it obviously from a religious side, because it obviously was because these things are tied together, but at the same time, because at first he was like, "Why are you here?" He didn't say that. I said it jokingly. Father Finch, he's a great priest, but it was kind of like at first, he's a young priest, he's a good priest, but it was like, "Why are you here?" But when I it's like, okay, so your wrist is hurting you and you can't record anymore, okay. But when I was explaining it, how it was affecting, prayer life, it was affecting this and that, he understood.
Yeah,
like,
emotions.
Oh, okay. Well, because, see, he's a fellow musician, too, so he understood that, he's a pianist. He loves to play piano, so he understood that. Just imagine if you couldn't do that anymore. So, it was nice kind of getting some feedback from him because he understood from the music side, but just talking to people and just kind of working through it. And there were times where I simply just had to work through it, and meaning, just because that, maybe somebody said, and some of my other students have told me, I've had tendonitis, I've had carpal tunnel, I've had, shoulder issues, arm issues, whatnot, like you mentioned, tennis elbow. But for me, it was like, what do I, if I'm not making music, I mean, sure, I can go out and I can work my way through it on the RC track, sure, but if I'm not playing music, because that's actually why I got into the RC hobby, because I needed a hobby. I didn't have a hobby.
Right.
Everyone needs a hobby, I think, but yeah.
I agree.
So that's why for about 3 months, it didn't seem that long. It felt like forever, but it seemed like forever that I just had to work through this and just, because when I went back to my doctor in January for that, checkup, I was expecting him to say, "Oh, we're going to have to do surgery," and that was something I did not want to hear. Oh, right. And I did not want to hear that. Yeah. But when he said, "Let's double up on the shot. Let's get you some things to do," and I'm back. So it was almost great. Like but it's almost like that's kind of what I needed to give me that spark again, to say, this is what life would be like without having music, recording wise. Obviously I would be teaching lessons, but I got a taste of what it would have been like to not do music anymore, just like with you not doing painting. You when you taste that, it scares you. It scares you. It does.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the thing, I was just talking with a guest, I don't know, last week or sometime, a filmmaker I know, and, we were talking, he had switched, he had started out in his career as he went to school for law. He was a civil rights attorney, and then told his fiance and his folks that he was going to sell the practice and start making movies. I'm like, I can only imagine what a fun conversation that was, Yeah. Oh, man. But, we were talking about I don't know how if it's this way for women. I just don't know if that's beyond my wheelhouse. But for men in Western society, here in the U.S. and places like this, your work becomes your identity. It really does. Oh, what do you do? It's one of the first things we ask each other. And it really does. And when that is threatened or changes, that's a big, especially if it's been your identity for a while, like you were saying, 30 years, man, 30 years.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine the, it's Jesus in the desert. That's that.
You got it.
And
you got it.
You gotta fight off those demons, man, because, and the insidious thing about self-doubt is it's a quicksand, a quagmire of depression. Once you wade out into that quicksand, it quickly seems to multiply on you, and you avoided that. You avoided that. If you see that doctor out, buy him a cup of coffee because
you better believe
back. It. Oh man, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. Yeah, might be an extra $1 in the collection plate this week. That's a good thing.
Absolutely,
it's a good thing. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, let's play the track. Let's play the track. This is race day. And no, is this, before we play, is this track out yet, or is it going to be coming out for people to purchase?
Actually, it just came out today.
Oh, there you go. How
cool. It just came out today. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm excited.
Here it is, folks.
That's why, yes.
Oh, no, finish your thought, John.
Oh, I was just going to say, it actually worked out because when you said, hey, I can't do it Tuesday. How about Friday? I'm like, Friday's release day. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh man, I love it. It's my wife loves it too. If she had asked me, what had happened is I had not scheduled on Monday. And I had scheduled some non-podcast stuff on Monday, and so I thought our anniversary was Monday. So I had Monday evening all, I'm like, oh, well, we'll go to dinner and do the thing, and no, I had read the calendar wrong. The anniversary was on Tuesday. So that morning, I emailed. I think it was Tuesday morning. It was right around there. I had just at the last, maybe the day before, realized my mistake, and I'm like, oh, I got to talk to John. It's not good. Oh, man. No. But it worked out. So release today of race day. How exciting. Yeah. How cool. Well, let's play it for the folks. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. This is John 3, race day. Check this out.
Things are caving in.
agree. I'm telling you, I liked the track. I like this track a lot. And I'm excited about it. And it's out now. John, fantastic work.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
It really was.
Hey, we have a caller. Let's take the call. Here we go. Hello, caller. You're on the air with John 3.
John, what's up? This is Ricky Chuck.
Well, hey, what's going on?
Oh, we over here listening to it. We got a little listening party in the man cave, RC shop.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Jamie, Ricky is the one responsible for me writing the song Ricky Chuck.
Nice.
Right.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Ricky's a great guy.
Nice to meet you. Me and a few friends of ours built the old Speegleville track out here in Waco.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So,
I know
the
you're
song
serious
sounds
when
great,
you build
John.
a track.
I like it.
You know?
Huh?
That's cool. I said, I know it's a serious deal when a track is built. That is awesome.
Well, I bought an RC car, and I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to do with it? Drive it up and down the road? Like, no, we got to find somewhere to build a track, so we built it.
That's right.
Nice.
That's right.
I love it.
That's great. It's a great track.
That is
it
fantastic.
Really is. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
It's fun, but, well, here's the deal. I'm the best there is. It's plain and simple. I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. Billy DeCourt, Tim Smiley, Brian Rhodey, Matt Bonson, they ain't got nothing on me, boy.
Nice.
That's
Very
right.
cool.
Ricky Chuck, that's right. In fact, here's so this is a great segue for this, and that is I'm actually going to record Ricky Chuck's song, and I'm going to release it. So this is a great time to go and let everybody know that my next song that I'm going to record, and I might come back on. We'll see if you got time, but yes, that's my next song I'm going to record is Ricky Chuck. It's a great song.
Right.
It's a fun song. Yeah.
I had folks some fun in my buddies, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Those are good buddies to have. That you can have.
Oh yes, sir.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Well, very cool. Well, that's awesome. I am just very excited that you guys have all kind of come together and you've got this cool hobby you're doing and having fun. Having fun. Like John said, everybody needs something. I mean, everybody needs something.
We race, but it's basically about having fun and just having a good time. That's all it is.
Yeah, nothing. That's the best. That is the best. Well, that's awesome, man. I dig that. Well, very, very good.
All right, well, I'm going to go. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you Sunday, John.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you Sunday, Ricky.
All right, thank you.
There you go, folks. The man, the myth, the legend, Ricky Chuck. How cool is that? Call into our show. I love that.
Yes. And he is.
The rating dial is
legend.
spinning as we speak. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Ricky's a legend out there. He's our coordinator, so he helps coordinate, the Sunday events and things like that. And he's got his famous, yellow Mugen. It's a brand called Mugen Siki. But so yeah, it's a lot of fun. I can't believe you call it. That's great.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I love it.
That's fantastic. Hey, anytime our show is being played in a man cave anywhere, I am very, very happy, and I know our advertisers are smiling right now. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
That is a good thing.
Let me tell you, that was a surprise. I was not expecting that. Of course, I'll let everybody know, all of my friends and things like that. Hey, I'm going to be on Jamie's show, but that was a great surprise. I'm smiling ear to ear. That's great.
Well, we're definitely going to have you back when you're ready, when Ricky Chuck's ready, and we'll definitely have you back on the show. I always have such a good time and a blast whenever you're on. And it's it's weird because I get some guests, that are very, it's like having Beethoven on or something. They're just so serious.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Yeah.
I get that way with my art sometimes. One of my father's favorite things he used to say to me when he was still around is, I would get in these kind of modes. We start talking about art or whatever, and it was funny because this was before I had the podcast. He would always say, "Reel it in, Fraser Crane, because he was very blue collar, and he's like, "Just settle down there, Fraser Crane." And I knew. I'm like, okay, I got to tone it down. Nobody wants to have this conversation about Monet. I get it. But me. But it's it's fun to have you on because you're a very serious musician and very talented musician. You have your own recording studio. You do classes and all this and that. You got it going on. But it's so cool as your friend to see, and we're doing this over the phone. To hear you light up. If that makes sense. I'm so glad you have this in your life, this hobby. That's cool, man. It's cool, and it's going over into your artistic side now. That's awesome.
I mean, just to think that how many people. Because when you write songs about your personal experiences, generally people write songs about how they feel. Oh, I'm sad.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a breakup. That kind of thing. And I'm not going to name any names. Taylor Swift, cough, cough. But to write a song, or songs in this case, in my case, writing songs about something that I really enjoy doing outside of music, and I think that I hope when people, listeners and fans, I hope that they listen to them and go, wow, you're doing something or writing songs that's different. It's fun. But it's different.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the cool thing about remote control racing is someone looking out that's not into it, that's looking from the outside in, and I might get into it now that we're talking so much about it, is, I love watching a NASCAR race. I love watching a Formula One race. I'm into it, man. I'm a car guy. But I don't have $100,000 to go out here and build a dragster. I don't have it, and I couldn't sell that to my wife. She wouldn't have it,
Right.
But I might be able to scrape $1,000 together or something, or $500 or something together. I can save those pennies and get into it. And I think that with remote control racing, a lot of people got to feel the same way, They're like, oh, I love racing. Here's a way I can do it, and still get that kind of the thrills. And, you're not going to be driving this thing. And I hate to break it to a lot of the people out there, a lot of owners do not drive their NASCAR. You have to hire somebody to drive that.
Yeah.
And hope it doesn't crash. A lot of money.
Well,
a lot of money.
At least, at least the crashes. I mean, if something breaks on one of my cars, it might be $10, $20, $30. At the worst, it might be a little bit higher than that. Right. But like for instance, on one of my buggies, the tires went bald. Well, a set of 4 tires cost me about $80-something. So tires aren't cheap. In fact, on my Truggy, those tires for a set of 4 is about, a set of 4 is about $120. So, there's some things that aren't that cheap. No. At least lately.
Not at all.
Yeah, you just no.
Well, people say, "Oh, it's $100." I'm like, you ever lose $100? Oh my gosh, I almost turned into Gollum with the ring. I mean, I have. Back in my wolfing around days. Remember those mornings where you'd wake and you look at your ATM receipts in your pocket, and you're like, "Did I buy the bar around? I don't remember that." That's not good. I don't want
Jamie
those
wouldn't be
anymore,
happy.
You know.
No.
No. Oh, no.
No.
That wouldn't work.
No. No.
Oh, man. You know, John, I have so much fun when you're on, and my computer just blinked at me. The computer. I don't know if the guests can hear them. Did you just hear a very attractive British lady come on?
No, but that wouldn't be a bad thing.
See, only I hear that. That's interesting. That's the computer. I'm telling you, I need her as a producer. We were talking off mic about producers. She'd be great to answer the phone. It's a computer program. I don't think it'll work. But it comes on and it says 60 seconds or whatever, and then I had to change the thing. But I can't believe every time you're on, because it's weird because when you do the show, as long as I have, you're like, okay, well, we're going to do an hour, and you're thinking, okay, well, that's a lot of talk time. You know, that I hope I can fill that up.
Yeah.
It seems like we've been talking for 10 or 15 minutes. It doesn't seem like an hour to me, you know? And that happens every time you're on the show. It sneaks up on me. It's crazy. I'm just having so much fun.
It's fun.
You know?
Same here.
Oh,
same here.
Fantastic.
It's always
fun. We've been talking for an hour, and I haven't mentioned your website. Folks, we have links to the John, the number 3 music.com. So it's John3music.com, and very easy to get to. And I imagine if you go there, you can pick up, we're talking about race day release today. We also have links to his Facebook and Instagram up. And pick up race day. Pick up race day. This is a fantastic track, and it's a good summer track, and we're moving into that. It's going to be summer soon, even in Waco, Texas. Even if it's figuring it out.
It's coming. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's crazy. Coming. That's crazy. Well, that's awesome, you know, and very, very cool. Well, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear the next track, John. So keep me informed, and we'll definitely have you on. We can always make room. We might be doing the show on a Monday night or something. We'll find the room. We'll find the space there. And make it happen. Yeah. Very, very cool. Well, there it is, folks. John 3 Race Day, and do you guys at the track there? What's the name of the track again? Do you guys have like a title? Because we got to give a shout out to those guys.
I have to give a shout out to Speegleville Speedway. That's the name of the track. The race team is called Moist Motorsports. So Ricky and a couple of the other guys, Matt, Tim, some of the other guys, they actually race competitively, and that's something that I might get into eventually. But Moist Motorsports, they usually go down to Austin. Actually, it's just a little bit north of Austin to a racetrack called Thornhill. And Thornhill is actually one of the largest indoor tracks, so to speak, at least in the country, I believe. So they do professional racing. You know, Billy and some of them go down there, Kevin and all them. But so they go down there. It's Team Moist Motorsports. Got to give a shout out to them. Great bunch of guys. Love racing with them. It's Speegleville Speedway. Obviously, have to give a shout out to Hobby Town Waco. Ron and a bunch of the guys there. They're great. Anytime that I've ever needed anything. In fact, Ron actually helped me finish up my truggy, so gotta give a shout. So between Speegleville Speedway and Moist Motorsports and Hobby Town Waco, man, we've got a great RC community. It's fantastic.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're not in the Waco area, you're in, I don't know, Idaho or someplace, I would stand to reason. I would be very surprised if there wasn't a cool RC community near you. So if this is something you're interested in, check it out, and ask around. Go to the hobby store. They will know, because there's people like John that go in there every other day, salivating about tires and motors and stuff,
Absolutely. I'm in Hobby Town once a week. Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's fantastic. Well, like I said, I think it's just, I'm so happy as your friend that you found this. And I tell you, well, you know what I'm going to say? I'm not going to say much on the air here, but send me a picture when your car's ready. I want to see a picture of your car, John. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Okay.
And there might be something, comes of that. I'll put it that way. But it's infected me, so I'm excited, Yeah. I'm excited, and I want to know how the car's doing and whatnot. Very cool. And, of course, we're at the end of the show. Shout out to the women behind the scenes, Miss Brooklyn and Catherine as well. And St. John's brother Matt, of course, and family.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Very cool. And a big shout out. We mentioned him earlier. What's his name again, John? Your priest?
Oh, yeah, Father Finch. Yeah, Father Finch has been a great priest. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Well, there you go, folks. How about that? This episode, of course, will be converted to a podcast. That means that's where we put the commercials and whatnot in, and it's available everywhere, wherever you download or stream podcasts at. Of course, you can get an ad-free version on my Patreon. Details on that are on my website, so you can find out about that. But it's always free with the commercials. So very, very cool. We will, let's see, it's the weekend. I keep forgetting it's Friday. I'm not used to doing shows on Friday evenings. But we will be back on Monday. So we will see you then, ladies and gentlemen. John, thank you so much for taking time to be on the show. Really appreciate it. And keep making cool music, man. You're so good at it.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Jamie. Love being on your show every time.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
This has been pop art painter Jamie Roxx's Pop Roxx Radio Talk Show. It has been executive produced by Jamie Roxx, recorded at his studio in Deerfield Beach in South Florida. All rights reserved by PopRoxx Limited for broadcast on Blog Talk Radio.
Tana Oli, PopRoxx Radio.
Estás escuchando Jamie Roxx de Pop Roxx Radio. Manténganse al tanto.
Hej, det här är Hicks från Sverige och ni lyssnar till Pop Roxx Radio med Jamie Roxx.
Blog Talk Radio.